Hello class and welcome to week 3 or module 3 in MSE 402, Engineering Project Management. This week we're going to be talking about the planning phase. Week 3's area of concentration is going to be focusing on defining a project, and what I wanted to do was put together a quick video introduction to walk you through all the components that you're going to be exposed to. So let's go ahead and jump into that master model that I created for you. You can see that the planning phase, as we overlap it, is going to cover the manual work breakdown structure and then translating that into your project schedule, putting together that MS project initial schedule where you overlay that information in there. It's going to give you the ability to then put together a Gantt chart. You'll be able to see some of the other types of charts that automatically come out for you. And in addition to that, you can see in the planning phase, there's a lot of other associated things that happen. Whether that's the risk management side of it, the communication plan side of it, looking at budgets, the different controls areas. The planning phase, if nothing else, you're starting to look at how do we plan these. They may not officially be due, so you won't see an official risk register or risk management plan that needs to be turned in this week, or the communication plan, or the resource and procurement plans. Those are not fully required right now, but at least the initial planning is thought about and structured. The big things this week are going to be that work breakdown structure. So let's just go ahead and take a peek at what we've got lined up for you as far as the recorded lecture. The week 3 lecture that's already been recorded for you is on project planning and the project planning phase. It's going to be a great introduction for you to walk you through all the components necessary to really understand how to plan a project. What does that mean? What does that look like? Now, our week 3 Zoom live lecture, the live lecture I'm going to do for you is going to be on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's where we're going to talk about estimation on a project. I'll focus on trying to give you at least 3 different views at how to estimate. Top down, bottom up, and then something in between. There's a variety of different methods, but I'm going to walk you through a variety of different, I'll call it, styles, and depending on the type of organization you're in and the type of funding you have available, that's going to determine exactly what kind of methodology you're going to use for estimating project duration, project costs for components, things like that. Now, once again this week, just like last week, the ECS PMO is going to pop you a message. You're going to have a message that comes in from the PMO, and each week, of course, there's always some opportunities that are made available to you in that message, and there are always some challenges that your team will encompass its performance on, utilizing those. Now, you'll have a series of questions that you have to answer, and you'll see that there's 3 of them this week. First one's going to be who's the team lead this week, because remember in week 1, our module 1, we've kind of moved off into this environment where we're rotating the team leadership roles. So there's a new team leader this week, and then your team will have to, in discussions, give you the ability to understand how you want to answer the other 2 question, I'll call it, areas of concentration. Now, let's go ahead and drop down from that PMO message, and let's jump into our team readings or the weekly readings. Once again, this week is going to be on, like I said, the planning phase. The project management book, the Gray and Larson book, has got great information for you on project planning, strategies, structures, how you should look at it from how does it impact the team, your organization. It's got great reference material for you, and then in addition to that, we're giving you process information. You're going to get that out of the PMI Book of Knowledge, the PMBOK. So the PMBOK Book of Knowledge gives you additional information. It walks you through process steps as to what is incorporated in the particular project planning phase of a project. Now, we've got 2 discussion activity areas for you this week. Those are all going to be on project deliverables. We're going to walk you through how we pull that apart. What's deliverable? Remember, there's 3 areas that you can really concentrate on a project. You have quality, you have cost, and you have schedule. And those 3 are the things that you can move around and massage a little. So when we talk about project deliverables, Those are integral to how we deliver the ultimate end item project or product to the customer. Now, make sure you remember you have 3 discussions that are required on 3 specific days, so you can't overlap those days. By overlap, I mean they must be on different days. 3 discussions on 3 separate days in each of the graded discussion activities to get full credit. We want to make sure you get full credit in those areas, so make sure you hit those very, very well. It gives us a chance to communicate and collaborate. There's a lot of important information that I'll ask you to give me so that we can share it with the rest of the team members. Now, ECS this week has got an exciting opportunity for you, and this is where you start to put the meat together on your project for ECS. So week 1, you did that selection of the process, the type of project that you wanted, and we've started to define a little bit of the front section of it. Now we're planning it. So the easiest way to plan it, or one of the most important ways to plan it, is to formalize that planning to something called a WBS. A WBS is a work breakdown structure. And we've got 2 different versions of the WBS in template form out there for you to use. Your team should be, at this point, pulling up first the Excel spreadsheet. That is a manual WBS input sheet. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that all team members are involved in this. Hand this out or to delegate this out to different people to work on different areas. Have them take one particular area. If somebody says, I've got a testing background, say, okay, well, here's the testing section of it. What are the tasks necessary? So what is the milestone? What is the goal? And then what are the sub-goals? What are the different things that need to be completed so that you can end this task and lay those out in a hierarchical type of structure? We've given this for you. You can print it out and you can go ahead and manually enter these if you want. You're going to find that that's a very valuable way to do it. Then once that's done, and that is a deliverable that the project leader will have to deliver, is the completed Excel spreadsheet with everything in it. Okay, the next thing is you're going to start working with Microsoft Projects. So this week is where we actually start to overlay that information that you've pulled up here into the Microsoft Projects software, and that'll give you a chance to start laying out the initial structure of your project. You'll lay out the start and the finish milestones, then the major components of the work breakdown structure, and then the tasks and subtasks. You can lay in milestones. You want to put the hierarchical area together, and you're going to see that once you get this structure put in place, it's going to give you the opportunity to go ahead and be able to create your initial Gantt chart. You'll be able to see the Gantt chart, the network diagram. You won't have resource loaded yet. That'll come later. If you want to start laying some resources in, you can, but it is not required at this point. What is required is an end-to-end schedule that starts with the start date, ends with the finish date. You need those 2 data points along with all the structure that's needed in between. Now, you may have certain people on the team that are very good at Microsoft Project. For others of you, you may have never seen it. The requirement is not that everyone on the team participates in the Microsoft Project assignment portion of it to actually enter data. You can have one team member that you think is a SME or somebody that's very versed work on that portion of it, but you must take all of the components and delegate those. Now, one of the things I wanted to also add for you, because I've told you that there's certain times additional readings are available. Well, that book I put up, the PMI book of Manager Book of Forms, it has something for you that is very, I'll call it, similar to your your data entry Excel spreadsheet. So it's got a work breakdown structure hierarchical page that you can fill in. It's almost identical to what we've got laid out for you here. It's just a set of pages that you can put together. But one of the things that they do talk about, and it's something that I just wanted to introduce to you, is the philosophy of an OBS, which is an organizational breakdown structure as far as people, and a work breakdown structure, which is the components that you're going to be doing, the elements or the pieces. Many times organizations, depending on how I'll call it controlling they are. And by controlling, that is not meant to be a bad thing. Certain projects, if they have government scrutiny or if it's in the biomedical area, you have the FDA overlooking you, they want specific deliverables. And one of the areas that this book talks about, and I'll go ahead and pull it up here, is something called a WBS dictionary. So a WBS dictionary is an area that if you want, only if you want, and it's not required here, I'm just giving you this as additional guidance on all government and federal funded type of projects, they will request from you when you're submitting the proposal a WBS dictionary, and they want to know what exactly is the description of what's going to happen in a WBS element or section. So just as a heads up, there's something called a WBS dictionary. It's very valuable for you. It is not required if you're working, on a more holistic type of project, but in certain government projects, you're going to see that it is required. It's a form that's available for you. I just wanted to throw that out there as additional information for you. Now, finally, the last thing you've got is the week 3 individual assignment, and that is going to be for your project leader. So the project leader this week is going to be responsible for submitting the week 3 team leadership report. And remember, this week is a different leader than last week. Take last week's leader's report, look at it, see what you were supposed to be working on, what are we going to be working on this week, what are we going to set ourselves up for working into next week. You would be responsible for delivering that. And once you're done with that, that covers all of the areas that we've got in front of you for week 3. So congratulations on weeks 1 and 2. ECS is very, very proud of you. We love having your team working with us, and we look forward to seeing where you're going in week 3. Now, the one thing that I didn't tell you that I want to throw in here at the end is that many of you will be looking at your project and saying, the WBS doesn't cover everything I need. I need to add some legs to it. There are 3 blank legs on this work breakdown structure template. You can change this around any way you want. So remember, if you need to add additional major components to your project, feel free to do that. If you think that something is named here, like I've got feasibility study, and you decide that you have a feasibility study that is called something else, feel free to change any of the verbiage, move it around, add as many components as you want. Okay? Have a great week 3, and we'll see you as we get into week 4. Goodbye, teams.